Hey everybody, Allison Gardner here, and I'm back for another step in this journey of keeping my own light bright and my own perspective healthy so that I can best help support my spouse in keeping his perspective positive and bright. And so the two of us together can be okay. And I know where I want to end up, but I just had an idea where I want to start. So I'm going to go a little bit personal and I'm going to go really present. So we got an email today saying that in our new place, they're going to do apartment checks or inspections or whatever. And I've never lived in an apartment where that happens. And so my husband and I really didn't know what that looks like. And so we kind of went back and forth, like, do we think we need to be here, or do we not need to be here? What do we need to do to prep? And I asked around, got the information of how our apartment complex does it, and moved forward with my life. And when I got home, and there wasn't a whole lot of words said, there wasn't a whole lot of like time spent together. The first thing that stands out to me was, well, we at least need to clean out our fridge because it really stinks. And just to clarify, nothing was molding, nothing was dying. There's just a lot of Thanksgiving leftovers from people who really love us. And I've been sick, so I haven't been able to get them all in airtight dishes so they don't smell up our fridge. And like I said, I've been sick for like a month. Of just fatigue and exhaustion and emotions all over the place. So I haven't really been able to clean out the fridge as much as I would like. So the moment arrived for me, to clean the fridge. And so I started pulling all the stuff out and started throwing it away and getting all the dishes prepped so that we can get them washed, and our fridge will be nice, because one, it just needed to happen, period, no matter what happens. It may have been precipitated or the process started because of tomorrow, but it just needed to happen, period. And I found myself being a little grumpy and being a little frustrated because I'm still recovering and I'm still tired. And so I'm still stressed, and he's tired and he's stressed, and seasonal affective disorder is kicking in big time. And so what a combination for us. What a not fun combination for us. And I just found myself grumbling under my breath and just frustrated that I was tired after a long day at work and trying to take care of all of these things, and I was feeling frustrated, and there I was all alone cleaning the fridge. Now, this is not a discussion about husband and wife responsibilities, though those are very important to sit down and have that conversation amongst yourselves. Don't put it off and don't assume. One of my favorite things to say is that never assume an expectation. You always need to be communicating what you are hoping for in any given circumstance. And realize that what you're hoping for might not be plausible for the other person. So you share your expectation, you share your hope, but then you have to let it go wherever it goes once you share it. But I can tell you it's like 100 times better to share your expectation than it is to hold it inside, and then always be thinking the other person should be able to read your mind. Bad plan. So shame on me. I did not communicate that expectation, that I did not want to be cleaning the fridge alone. But I did know enough that this was an assumption on my part. This was an uncommunicated expectation. And so I could not hold it over his head that he wasn't doing what I wanted. And so it was very powerful for me to recognize that in that moment. And also realize that there is more at play. I had a lineup of other thoughts previous to that conversation that had already put me on edge. I had already been making some assumptions and had been making some decisions in my head, and so I knew that was going on before had set me up for being frustrated now. And so I thought through some things. I took a step back and went, okay, maybe I do want more help with things around the house. Or maybe I do want more support or appreciation in this way. But me being snarky is so not going to give me what I want. Not going to give me what I want. And so I took a step back and I reset and I finished doing dishes, and our fridge is not 100% clean, but all the leftovers are fresh. So that's a win. Now you might be wondering, what in the world does this have to do with anything? And it has everything to do with the Lord having mercy on us. Over the weekend, I was not feeling well. I was down for the count. And so we were home for Thanksgiving. And the thought that just kept playing over and over in my head, all that I could keep thinking was that this holiday wasn't like any other holiday that we'd had before, which also isn't true because I'm sick on Thanksgiving a lot. But I just kept thinking the thought of, this isn't how it's supposed to be. It shouldn't be this way. And so it caused me to examine a lot, all the things that I feel like I should be doing that I'm not. That I should just be able to clean out the fridge, sick or not, that I should be able to balance my emotions better, that I should have more faith, that I should extend more mercy to my spouse, that I should be able to communicate things perfectly because we've been married for 4 years, and so I should be an old hand at this, and that I should be able to manage my expectations, and that I shouldn't be getting my hopes up. And all of these things just kept coming up and coming up and coming up for me. And I know the quote that you shouldn't let should control your life. You shouldn't should on yourself is the quote that people tell me often. And I do know, I've been aware of that on an intellectual level. But it wasn't until I realized that I don't have to live a life that looks exactly like my parents. I don't have to live a life that looks exactly like anybody else's. I don't have to live a life that looks exactly like I thought it should when I was 12. Because there is 16 years of life, of heartache and joy that I didn't know existed when I was 12. And so holding myself to standards of anyone else's lives when I have a different life and I have different experience and baggage and understanding both, is so unfair to me and so unfair to them. Because when you start living your life by shoulds, when you start living your life by comparisons, guess what? Somebody is always going to lose. And sometimes it's you, sometimes it's your spouse, sometimes it's your next door neighbor, but somebody always loses. And so when I could finally take a step back and realize that it didn't matter what it was supposed to look like. It doesn't matter that I'm not living according to the way anybody else does, or I'm not doing the holidays. That is a horrible phrase. We don't do holidays. We experience them. We live them. And how important it is to live them. And so I hope that you will take that to heart, and that you will be kind, and that you'll be kind to yourself, and you'll be kind to your spouse. It can be so easy to blame outside forces and to get frustrated. Because if I wasn't sick, we still might not have gone anywhere. You can read my blog that I'll link down below to find out more about that. We still might not have. And I could have gotten really frustrated about that, and I could have gotten very disheartened about that. Because I was still stuck in this mindset of, well, it's the holidays. You're supposed to be with family, or, oh, it's this, so you should be doing these things. And as I was thinking about the fact that I can't live anybody else's supposed to, and I can't live anybody else's should, the other thing that popped into my head was Elder Holland saying the words that God above all else delights in being merciful. Because he doesn't see us as petulant 2-year-olds. He doesn't see us as disobedient, freaked out 3-year-olds. He sees us as divine beings that are learning how in the world to be mortal. He sees us as eternal beings that have a body for the first time and are figuring out hormones and are figuring out stresses and are figuring out pains and hurts and all sorts of things. He sees us in our glory and our wonder and our joy, and he gets that it hurts, and it gets that our expectations go awry, and he gets that sometimes we're sad, and he loves us anyways. And so I hope for 2 things. 1, you will extend mercy to yourself. As I said when I very first started this video, I did not do all the things that I knew that I should to communicate my need. And I didn't feel like I was in a place to do that. And so my choice is to extend mercy to myself and to love and be kind to myself, that I am imperfect and I don't always live up to the things that I know will help me. And second, that I and all of us extend mercy to the person we love who's having a hard time. That even when I do communicate expectations and they're not met, that I know that God's grace is sufficient for me and them. And so if it's about cleaning the sink, if it's about cleaning out the fridge, if it's about where you spend your holidays, I hope you know you're never alone, that the Lord is just a prayer away, and that he can step in, and his grace will extend mercy to you so that you can extend it to others. We are so very loved, and I know that sometimes it's really hard to see that. But I know that we're loved and we're cared for, and that as we keep trying and we extend mercy to ourselves and self-compassion to ourselves, that we will find the place that is best for us, that we will remove unhealthy comparison, and that we will strengthen our marriage with mercy and with love. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to talking with you all next time.